Happy Monday, everybody. Thank you for being here with us today. And I'm just going to do a quick sound check. If everybody can hear me, just hit the reaction or show me a thumbs up. Good to know. All right, perfect. Cool. So welcome to Northeastern University Seattle DSC's team formation session. I'd like to begin by introducing the lead team. We have Bisha and Mary, Yiyu, myself, and our fearless leader, Cheryl. Let's give everybody a hi.
Hello, guys.
We also have Daniel here with us. He is a Google mentor. Daniel, do you want to just give everybody a hello?
Howdy, y'all. You may have seen in the chat I dropped my LinkedIn. Feel free to connect with me. I would love to endorse some of y'all's skills that you'll be showcasing throughout the solution challenge. So definitely connect with me and look forward to hearing from y'all in a little bit.
Thanks, Daniel. Yeah. All right, so today's agenda, we're gonna do a little bit of an intro. You and I will be guiding you guys through the Solution Challenge 2021. There's gonna be 2 videos from the Google website as well that we're gonna watch together as a group. And then between that and our affinity diagramming session, we're gonna have a Q&A with Daniel, and moving forward after the affinity diagramming session, we'll move into breakout rooms based off of the dev goals that we guys come up with. We'll break out of the breakout rooms right after that, discuss a little bit of the results, see what teams potentially formed, what dev goals we'll be working on, any Q&A that we have, and you will wrap us up with some post-event housekeeping and next steps for after the event today. So, you take it away.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Arjun. So what is the Solution Challenge? So the Solution Challenge is an annual contest presented by the DSC that invites students to develop solutions for local community problems by using one or more Google products or platform. So students from undergrads or graduate programs with an interest in growing as a developer are welcome to participate in this challenge. So it's a great opportunity to demonstrate and sharpen your skills, and also a great opportunity to work with other people. And we're gonna watch a short video here. This video is provided by Google, and Erica is gonna explain the solution challenge in more details. Could you go to the next slide? Yes.
Hi everyone, I'm Erica Hansen, and in this video, I will give you an overview of the steps and timeline for the Google Developer Student Club's 2021 Solution Challenge. The Solution Challenge is an annual contest that invites students to develop solutions utilizing one or more Google technologies. This year's mission is for students to solve for one or more of the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Check out the next video in this series to learn more on these 17 goals and how to brainstorm ideas to help achieve them. For now, let's take a look at the complete timeline of the Google Developer Student Club's 2021 Solution Challenge. The steps can be grouped into 4 phases: register, learn and build, deep mentorship, and demo day. At this phase, you'll join a Google Developer Student Club virtually at your college or university. If there is no club at your university, you can find the nearest one to you by checking our online directory. If you are joining a club outside your university, make sure to team up with at least one student from that university in order to be eligible to participate in the Solution Challenge. Once you are a Google Developer Student Club member, it's time to register your interest at goo.gle/Solution Challenge by submitting the form. Now you can form a team with up to 4 students from your club. Ideally, your team members will have a varied set of technical and soft skills, so you complement each other's strengths. The next phase is where you'll select one or more of the UN 17 Sustainable Goals to solve for. And now it's time to start defining and building your solution. We've created a series of videos to guide you through this process. They offer references to many technical resources available to you, so be sure to check them out. And remember, while you design and build your solution, you can always get guidance and assistance by posting a question on the mentorship platform Partheon, where Google developer experts can help you overcome the obstacles you face along the way. Once you have built your solution, gone through user feedback, and reiterated your code, it's time to record a demo video. The video should be 2 minutes or shorter and showcase your solution in a clear and exciting way. Both your solution and the demo video should be submitted by March 31st through the Solution Challenge website. At this stage, the Solution Challenge team of judges will review and rank all the submissions from around the world. You can check the judging criteria on the Solution Challenge website. The top 50 solutions will be announced and invited to join the deep mentoring phase. This phase is designed to fine-tune and improve the top 50 solutions. These top teams will receive mentoring from Google and Google developer experts. Once completed, these top 50 teams will resubmit their improved solutions and their improved demos to compete for a spot as one of the 10 finalists. These top 10 teams will win an array of prizes, among which are a 1-year subscription to Pluralsight, swag, and additional customized mentoring from Google and Google developer experts. The top 10 teams will also be invited to present their solution to Google and developers all over Solution Challenge Demo Day. During Demo Day, the judges will watch the top 10 demos and interview the finalists. The final 3 winning teams will be announced live during the event, winning all the prizes included in the top 10 category, along with a Chromebook and a private meeting with a Google executive. The Google Developer Student Club Solution Challenge is a great opportunity to learn the latest Google technologies and kickstart your career by learning through doing. You'll be collaborating with Googlers and Google developer experts on your way to building a great solution. In the next video, we will explore the UN 17 Sustainable Development Goals and show you some ways to research and brainstorm solutions aligned with these goals. Thank you for watching, and I can't wait to see what you build.
Yeah, thank you, Erica. So here I'm going to talk about some of the Google technologies you can use. So the first one is Android bases. So with Android bases, you use the programming language as Kotlin to build an app for Androids. And the Firebase provides a lot of tools for us to build and run our applications. And some of the key features for the Firebase is authentications, such as when you enter the password, you can check if the password you enter is correct or not. And also the data on the Firebase is seen in real time and across all the platforms. And the next one is the Flutter. So Flutter is Google's UI toolkit to build applications for multiple platforms, such as Android, iOS, Linux, Mac, and Windows. So normally app developers have to make different versions of the app for the different platforms. But now with Flutter, developers can write the code only once because the Flutters had a lot of time compile process, which can automatically convert the code to different versions. And next we have TensorFlow. So TensorFlow is an open source software library for machine learning. It can be used to develop and train machine learning models. So with TensorFlow, you can build something like a recommender system to recommend movies, or train neural network to classify image of clothes. So if you guys are interested in building something that related to machine learning, TensorFlow could be really handy. And next one, we have Google Cloud. So Google Cloud is a public cloud computing resource and service, which provide a place for us to build and run the software, and also to connect with the user of the software. So when you are building a project with Google Cloud, you can keep track of the data storage, the database queries, and also the network connectivity. So one final resources that might be helpful in helping you to get hands-on experience with the Google technology is Colabs. So on Colabs, you can find many tutorials on how to build small applications or adding new features to your applications, such as how to build a push notification on your website. And Colab provides a lot of detailed guidance like the labs we have in school. So it's great to explore and practice your skills with the Colabs. Next slide, please. And also to help you guys better prepare for your solution challenge, we divided the project into several milestones. So the first milestone is the project brainstorming and the team sign up, which is the stages we are at right now. And hopefully by the end of this week, you guys can finalize your team members and start working on the low fidelity prototype, which is for the next milestone. So the low fidelity prototype can be like something like a brief project description, basically describe what would be the solution for the problem you guys identified and what would be the technologies you guys plan to use. So it doesn't have to be involved with many codes. It just have to be a broad project description. And the next milestone will be you guys start working on your product. And it's also important to have a prototype first, and then you can send your prototype to the users, and the users can test the app for you guys, and also giving out the feedback to you guys so that you guys can improve your products with the advice from the users. And the last milestone we have is the project demo. So we will have like a project demo day, and you guys can all present your products. So please make sure that you have joined the DSC Northeastern Seattle chapter, which is on the website. And you also have the access to the Slack channel because we're gonna communicate a lot on the Slack channel. And also you have registered for the solution challenge, which is a Google form to be filled out. And I'm gonna head it over to Arjun.
Thanks, Yu. I appreciate it. So the Solution Challenge 2021 focuses on the UN 17 Sustainable Dev Goals, and left you see the 17 Dev Goals, and they touch upon, I think, every wicked problem that's plaguing mankind today, right? And along with Google, the UN has kind of brought together the brains of the world to solve these problems and come up with creative solutions that can actually be implemented on a large scale. So what we're looking at essentially is how good your solution is, what the mission is with respect to the solution, and how can your solution scale and touch upon the problem within the target audience all across the world. So in addition to specific goals and targets with these dev goals, what we urge you to do is to go to the Google website and on the DSC community website. You'll see a separate link for the UN goals. I think somebody from our team will put that in the chat, and you scroll down and you'll be able to see each dev goal has specific information and mission critical problem sets that they would like for you to tackle, which we'll look at in the next video. You'll be able to see why that mission matters, specific infographic information on it, and UN metrics and goals as well with respect to those dev goals, as well as example projects. So one of those examples is right here. We have the SDG tracker for Zero Hunger, for example, and that link is right there. I know Cheryl has put that in the chat as well. We'll move on to the next slide and watch the Google video on the Solution Challenge Dev Goals.
Hi everyone. The mission of this year's Google Developer Student Club Solution Challenge is to solve for one or more of the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals using Google technology. Citing the official United Nations website, these goals are the blueprint to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all. They address the global challenges we face, including poverty, inequality, climate change, environmental degradation, peace, and justice. During this video, I will show you how you can research these goals and brainstorm ideas for your Solution Challenge project. So starting with the official UN SDG site, the first thing I suggest you do is click on each of the goals and read the challenges each goal faces. For example, Goal 1, No Poverty. This page will give you a good primer to the challenges we face on our road to no poverty. And down at the bottom of the page, you can take a look at the facts and figures and the breakdown of targets defined for each goal. There's also an infographic you can check out to get a high-level overview of the current state of things as it relates to the specific goal. Go over the rest of the goals to get familiarized with them and see if any ideas come to mind about solutions you can build using technology. If ideas do arise, write them down to brainstorm further later. Another great site that can really help you generate solution ideas is DIAL, which stands for Digital Impact Alliance. We're going to focus on 2 tabs, SDGs and the building blocks, but I urge you to look at the other tabs. They are just as useful for your ideation stage. Okay, so let's look at the SDGs tab and take a look at Goal 2, Zero Hunger. This goal has 8 targets, which help you focus on solving a certain aspect of the goal. For example, Target 1, which summarizes as end hunger by ensuring access by all people to good, healthy food all year round. Okay, so immediately ideas start to spark. Maybe you can build a charity app that either accepts donation-safe healthy food or accepts monetary donations dedicated to providing food. Or maybe you can build a volunteering platform that brings people together to help the community at risk. Brainstorm with your team and see what aspects of these problems you are familiar with, or maybe you have access to communities who are dealing with the challenge. Having personal knowledge of a problem will allow you to design solutions which are far more effective and easier to adopt. Now, let's take a look at Goal 10, Reduced Inequalities. Target 1, achieve and sustain income growth for the bottom 40% of the population at a rate higher than the national average. What a well-defined target. Okay, so now you can start brainstorming again on how you can achieve progress through technology here. Maybe you can build an app or a platform that educates people on financial and saving strategies. Or maybe you can help small businesses grow through education apps or e-commerce and marketing apps that are specific to your community. For example, in my community, the elderly struggle with finding online educational content, and I might consider building an elderly-friendly educational platform. This platform can potentially provide the elderly with equal opportunities at learning new skills and at increasing their income. You'll see that going through these web pages will spark many ideas in your mind. Write them down and discuss them with your team. See which idea really strikes a chord with your ability and your belief. You'll be working on this for a while. You want to solve a goal that you are passionate about or that's really close to home. In the next video in the series, I'll be going through a demo case study. I'll pick up an idea and simulate the steps my team and I will take towards a successful demo submission. I hope the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals inspire you to solve for your community in a meaningful way. We can't wait to see all of your demo submissions.
So what I'm getting from that, guys, is that your opportunities are endless, right? So for those of you in the product and program management space, you should be familiar with those DIAL targets. They're SMART objectives, right? And so for those SMART objectives to really come into being, it's this project, the Google Solution Challenge, is something that'll bring out your capabilities and your skills with respect to moving a project or a product from inception to delivery, right? And so before we move forward, we've put down some designs for best practices. Before I go through this little overarching environment for you guys to follow and this timeline sort of a thing, what I'd like for you to do is to definitely hit those links in addition to all the links that are being pasted in the chat. This one link, this resource link, is going to be your Bible with respect to experimentation and things to do with respect to mine information or gain knowledge or team building, team formation, or even something like we're going to do today. We're going to be doing an affinity diagramming exercise where you find out what everybody is thinking so that you can make your direction towards a certain horizon. So once you form your teams and within the next couple of days, what you should ideally be doing is planning towards your product. So looking at a user journey, you know, working backwards from the customer, experience mapping. There are some other best practices outlined on the resource link for, you know, Crazy 8 and exercises along those lines that will help you define better the environment that you want to create for your product to be built within and designed. After you're done with that, you want to roadmap a vision for your strategy to come into being as an app or as a certain software program. Once you're done with that, you want to, like you mentioned, you want to have a prototype. A prototype is not necessarily an MVP or a beta or even an alpha. A prototype can be a functional description of all of the feature set that your product is going to provide that will solve one of the dev goals. Say that, you know, you are one of the top 50. Hopefully we all are, you know. You want to have an execution strategy that you'll take into the deep mentoring stage so that you have a targeted vision and a targeted attack strategy for bringing that product to the delivery stage. I'm going to move forward, and we definitely have half an hour, so I'm going to attack the Q&A with Danny before we go into the affinity diagramming stage. So we as a team will be taking logistical and operational questions at the end of this. But if you guys have any specific questions with respect to Google or this process, please take advantage of Danny's time.
I'm happy to answer any and all questions y'all have, whether it be, you know, centered around solution challenge, maybe a question about, hey, how would you approach something like this? You know, I have some time, so definitely happy to share my expertise if you'd like it.
Yeah, everybody should feel free, you know, unmute yourself, ask a question, or even throw your question into the chat and we can moderate through that as well.
So one of the things I'll do while we wait for some questions to come through is just kind of mention a few very key points that I heard towards the beginning of this presentation. So number one, everyone, can y'all hear me okay? Is that a little low for y'all?
I think somebody asked for you to up your volume a little bit. Would that be possible? It is a little bit low on my end, but it might be my computer. I'm not sure.
Sorry, y'all. I'll switch microphones here. Can y'all hear me better now? How's this sound? Much better? Cool.
Yeah, much better.
Yes,
cool.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Sorry about that. I'll have to work on my other mic in a second. But yeah, so one of the things I wanted to mention were just a couple things I heard previously in the slide deck. So number one, y'all can work with people from outside of y'all's university. So what this means is if you have a friend or someone who isn't local at this university right now, they're still able to join this chapter and participate in Solution Challenge. So if you know someone you know, who may be interested, feel free to reach out, share this information. You know, we would love to have them join. The second thing I want to mention here is, you know, in the registration process, this is an individual registration for y'all at this point in time with Solution Challenge. We're not going to ask y'all to identify your team or really even, you know, tell us specifically what it is that you're going to be working on. It's more for us to just get some information from you, help connect you to some resources that we already have, and most importantly, get you connected to our mentoring network on Partheon. This is where you'll actually have the chance to connect with over 100+ Google developer experts, as well as Armand from that video that you saw earlier, to help you answer questions about, you know, your specific project, whether it be about like Android, Flutter, Firebase, you name it. This forum is going to be a really important stop for y'all, especially with it being, you know, 100+ mentors in there. There's going to be tons of, you know, 24/7 support since they'll be from across different time zones. So When you register, you'll receive an email after registering. You do have to go through and then create an account for this Parthenon platform. It's a separate platform, so it's totally optional for y'all to join. But I do want to encourage y'all, please take the moment and join. It takes about like 1 or 2 minutes to create that profile, and it really will help you get connected with amazing mentors. So yeah, with that, any other questions, comments y'all have, happy to jump into it.
I think we have a question in the chat. Do you have any recommendations from Sean? Do you have any recommendations on the scope? For example, local versus national versus global that we should be aiming for in our projects?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you so much for bringing it up. So for me, what I think is most important here is to focus more on your local community, right? Especially with us having a lot of areas that are being, tremendously affected with the pandemic that's happened here in the US, small businesses included, nonprofits. There's definitely a way for us to make an impact in our local communities. Furthermore, by staying local, you may even be able to reach out to some of these companies or nonprofits to see if they would be willing to work with you to help solve some of these issues, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be a business or nonprofit as well. Could be another student organization, could be, like a local elementary or middle school who's looking to increase the interest in STEM learning with like a mobile application. There are ways for you to help the local community, which would be, more rewarding in this process, right? You could see the actual change that your solution could bring to the community. The other thing I'll mention here is just that a lot of these local problems can translate and be moved to other areas throughout the US or globally. So by, focusing in on something that you see on a daily basis and can really, try to improve with technology, it may already be able to scale rather naturally, especially if other areas are affected with same things. So for me, definitely say local. But with that being said, it very well could become a solution for multiple areas, right? But for y'all, definitely local.
We also have a question from Shuying Zhang. What kind of experiences and to what extent do you expect us to have? Is it
Cheryl, hang on. I think Shuying just messaged me and she said she's trying to rephrase her question. So she sent me a message. She says, if we don't have enough industry coding experience, are we still able to participate in this? It sounds a bit stressful.
So that's a great question. And one of the things I will say here is absolutely. One of the things that's really amazing about the solution challenge is that we're not expecting y'all to build these these solutions all by yourself. In the real world, you're usually working with a team of developers to help you kind of pull together these different avenues for solutions. So no, we're not expecting you to have an extreme level of knowledge about all of these, maybe previous Google texts you may have seen. In fact, it's okay if you have little to none experience as well. One of the best parts of the solution challenge is that we're going to give you so many resources for y'all to be able to learn these new technologies that we can, partner together and help take you from, from entry level all the way to mastery, if that's what you're looking for. We have self-paced code labs, which y'all could do on your own time. And we even have community events, covering things on Android, new Google Cloud content, which is out there, including like data structures, big data, things like that, which people are very interested in. And we have other developer student club community events happening like right now, which you could take part in and learn from. One of these things I'll mention here is actually Firebase. And there's a pretty big Firebase series happening on our Think Outside the Valley channel. I don't have the link right on top of me, but I can get it and drop it in the chat in just a second. The best thing about the Solution Challenge is that we're going to help take you to wherever it is you want to end with your knowledge level, whether it be just working with your local community, joining other events, investing in yourself in your own time. There's still plenty of ways for you to be involved. The other thing I would recommend here is if you don't have a ton of experience as well, that's okay. Maybe what we can do is try to partner you with some other team members who have a lot of experience, who can help you learn and kind of pick up some additional tricks and tips along the way. Pardon me. I was tripping all over myself there towards the end because I needed some water.
Perfect, Danny. There is a question that would, I think, help us a lot in our affinity diagramming exercise that we're about to do right after this. Could you speak a little more to the kinds of solutions that could potentially solve and function in more than one of the dev goal sections? For example, going in as a product manager, or as even as a developer, you look at some of these and you say, for example, no poverty, zero hunger, and quality education, 1, 2, and 4 could go well together. You could come up with a feature set that aims to integrate a solution that addresses all 3 of these places. So can we stack the dev goals with respect to creating something that looks at more than one?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. And the answer, I'll say this as simply as I can, yes, right? You are able to tackle more than just one of these goals at a time. And in fact, I encourage y'all to do so. As you so eloquently put there, a lot of these can be kind of packaged together to really help a lot of different areas, right? So what I would say to kind of backtrack from the previous question is you're not required to be working on multiple of these goals at once. As a bare minimum for the solution challenge for y'all to enter, you have to use one or more of these 17 SDGs and at least one of Google's technologies, services, API tools. From there, you're absolutely able to use whatever it is you would like. So yes, definitely can work on multiple of these UN goals. And in fact, I would actually encourage y'all to begin brainstorming for multiple of these goals. What you'll find is as you're brainstorming these ideas, you'll actually start to connect to some of your other ideas, right? And that's why it's important to go through a thorough brainstorming exercise. As Armand mentioned in the video, have a piece of paper, pen, something handy, so that way as you're notating things down, you can come back to it later. A lot of these things will interconnect. And if you have the technical aptitude to try to pull off a solution for all of them, let's go for it.
Cool. Thank you. Do we have any more questions for Danny?
Yeah, I have a general question I want to ask.
Perfect.
So as you mentioned, we can connect with you on LinkedIn, and so if we highlight any of the projects that we've done for the solution challenge, it can reach out to a lot of people, which is a great thing because the more number of people, I guess, know our project, we can get more users to test it, which will also be a good way to market the solution that we're working for, potentially join hands with others who want to work on the same thing. So just a general question, is there any other way or any other resources where we can market it accepting LinkedIn, or is there any hashtag that we can use, or on the same lines,
Yeah, so you could always use the hashtag, Developer Student Club, right? That's one of our hashtags that are out there. You could always do hashtag Solution Challenge 2021. That's going to be one which will be tagged as well. Those are primarily the bigger hashtags. You could do, sorry, y'all, my dog barked for a second. You could do those as well as just hashtag DSC. That works as well.
Okay, thank you.
Also, for those who have not connected with me on LinkedIn, please go ahead and connect with me. As y'all go through and build these projects, I would love to endorse all of the different skills that you're showcasing with the Solution Challenge. So help me help you get noticed on LinkedIn, connect with me, and I look forward to endorsing your skills.
Cool. I think before we move forward, I'd like to ask you another question. I know we're all here to learn, but with respect to the opportunity at hand, with what winning this thing gives you, and so what are your top 3 tips for success for the Google Solution Challenge?
I really appreciate you asking this. This is something that I'll share from learnings from last year, right? As we moved from an in-person to a virtual environment, and with Solution Challenge for y'all being entirely virtual, hopefully these tips will help. So number one, pick something that will motivate you to continue working, given that this is going to be a little bit of a stressful time where you may have to kind of balance, personal life, school, and a large project. What I saw last year in Solution Challenge was that people tried to go after something which would attract the judge's attention, right? And one of the things I'll say here is, if you look at our judging criteria, most of the ways in which you'll get points has more to do with your focus and actually solving of the particular challenge that you're aiming to solve. So there's no like secret sauce recipe to get you in the top 10. It's just looking at a solution which can help your local community and then using the best Google technology to make that happen. One of the other things I'll say here, which is kind of connected there, so I'll kind of call it like 1.5, it's not necessarily a second one, is keep it simple, right? One of the things that I see a lot of students do is they overcomplicate their projects rather quickly. Some of the best solutions in the world are adopted because they work, right? It's not because they have all of these fancy bells and whistles, or, it has like a crazy amount of code in the back end. No, what matters is, does it solve what users in the real world are being affected by? If it does, that's all that matters. So the second tip I'll share here, since like I said, that was like 1.5, is setting milestones and keeping open communication with your teammates. In the virtual environment, this is especially important. You will have times where you may not be able to meet a deadline or a milestone, and that happens in the real world. That's part of this Solution Challenge exercise to give y'all an opportunity to practice some of these skills. So don't run from it. Don't hide from it. It's gonna happen. Be open and honest with your team. Ask for help. And, if they aren't necessarily helping you the way you think you should be helped, reach out to myself, the core team. Anyone here would be happy to try to make sure that there's understanding. That's part of this challenge, right? Is to help y'all grow in more than just the technical aptitude. It's also those applied skills. Finally, one of the things that I think a lot of students forget about here with Solution Challenge, and this is really the greatest tip to success: have fun, right? This is not meant to be a stressful opportunity. This is not meant to be something that you pull your hair out over or slam your computer down, right? This should be an opportunity to go, yes, I get to use Google's resources to build a project in the real world today that I can use to showcase my awesome skills tomorrow to interviewers or internships, anything, right? So don't look at this as, something that is another job. Think of this as like one of the best fun opportunities that y'all can, take advantage of here. And finally, what I'll mention is some of these projects may even be able to be translated into capstone projects or things of that nature. So nothing you do here could go to waste. So please, with those tips in mind, I'd really encourage y'all, if you haven't, go register for Solution Challenge, go connect with me on LinkedIn, and please keep me in the loop of how things are going. Right? I know I'm just here right now doing Q&A, but I heard earlier that there'll be a kind of a demo day for y'all locally. I'm going to try to come back and see if I could listen in to some of those pitches, because personally, I think that's one of the best parts of this, right? So if y'all would have me, I would love to come back and continue to be part of your Solution Challenge journey. But with that and feeling a little bit like I'm starting to lecture, I'll stop and thank y'all for the time and that additional question.
Yeah, no, I mean, before you leave, we had one more question coming for you. I think it's a really quick one, so I'll throw it at you. So it says, I'm in last semester. Is it okay to participate in the last semester? So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And by that, I mean, like, you're getting ready to graduate and all that good stuff. So, well, first of all, congratulations, right? You're almost to the finish line. Don't give up yet. Get all the way through, right? And secondly, absolutely, you are welcome to participate in Solution Challenge. The one thing I'll mention here is just be aware of the timeline, right? Solution Challenge submissions will close March 31st, We will then have those like roughly 2 months to evaluate before we get to the top 50 winners. There will be the additional deep mentoring phase for top 50. So if you're selected in the top 50, we would want you to come back and still participate in that phase before a resubmission to be invited into the top 10 for demo day. So just be aware that, even if you graduate, there's still the opportunity to work with Solution Challenge, and we would love for you all to do it. So yes, welcome, and hopefully you do enjoy Solution Challenge. I would love to kind of hear about how it worked for you, especially in your last semester.
Cool. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Aparna, for asking that question. I think there is more than one person in that situation, so it's an important answer to get from Daniel. If
Hey,
there's, yeah.
Sorry, I have a question for Danny. If you have a few more
Sure.
minutes.
Please go ahead.
So thank you. So I think this will help our team formation event a little bit today. I think that a lot of teams that are going to be formed today are going to be with people that have not met before. And the whole team formation event, the idea of it is to meet as many people as possible and find team members that, think like you and want to work on the same solution, on the same problem that you want to. So once you form a team, like preliminary team, could you give us like a few pointers on how to maintain a good relationship with the team that you've never worked with before, especially for a project that's going to be deadline specific and on a pretty big scale, actually?
Yeah, no, really important question. Thank you for not letting me leave before addressing this, because I actually do have a couple of really good tips to share here. So one of the things that I find to be really helpful in these situations is having a team meeting where we all sit down and we do kind of it's not like an intro, but it's a, how do we like to work, right? Am I someone who wants constant feedback, right? Am I someone who wants to be chatting back and forth as I'm working? Or am I someone who wants to just kind of be left alone to do what I need to do? And that is a really important conversation to have with new team members that you may be having. One of the things I'll encourage y'all to do in this convo is really just be open and honest. If you're more of a phone call person or a text person, share that. The last thing we want to do is force you to use a different communication style than you'll actually respond to. The other thing I'll mention here is, working with new team members, it's almost like that first day of school, right? We're all kind of just trying to fit in a little bit, make sure we don't say anything silly. What I'll say here is anyone that you're going to be working on with your team, y'all will become close friends and allies rather quickly, especially if you're working on something that you're all passionate about, right? So what I'll connect back to here is what I mentioned before with those pro tips. Find something you're really passionate about to work on, because if you're passionate about it and others are passionate about it, you more than likely have similar things outside of this project that you're going to be able to click on and share experiences on, which will make this team formation work a little bit better. One of the other things I would say here is it's important to address roles everyone would play within the community, right? So it doesn't have to be like a top-down approach where it's like Danny would be the leader of the team and anything he says would go, right? If that's not necessarily how y'all want to run the team, that's okay. Have a conversation about if it's going to be more of like a democratic team, if y'all are going to take votes on certain actions before doing it, if it's going to be more broken up into specific roles with like someone like myself being in charge of the project management, someone else maybe being more in line for setting up meetings and things of that nature. But delegate these roles to make sure that not one person is solely responsible for the overall health of the project, right? All of y'all need to have a similar stake in this project to keep you honest and engaged throughout the next month and a half. So those are just a couple tips I would share. Finally, I'll say this, and this may give me some eyebrows. Set up a weekly meeting where all of y'all join. Doesn't matter if it's just a phone call. It doesn't matter if it's via Zoom, whatever. Make sure there is some meeting on the books to where y'all can all look forward to interacting with one another. It's important to give teams time to meet, have small talk, and share beyond just what they're working on for that cohesion to really solidify and get a little bit better. So, with that, I hope it helps. And obviously, as y'all go through the team formation event here later, keep me in the loop of how it goes. Reach out to me on LinkedIn if there's anything that pops up that you're like, hey, Danny, how would you handle a situation like this? Happy to jump more into specific answers there.
Cool. Thank you, Danny. I think that everything you spoke about was, I think, to the point of what you got to follow in the corporate world. You get a job. When you apply for a job, you get that job because they think that you're as passionate about them as they are, right? Which allows them to work with you. And it's kind of more difficult in the DSC environment where you're really working under no supervision, and you got to be self-accountable. So thank you, Danny. We're gonna move sides to before you decides to wrap up. Does anybody have any questions? Feel free to unmute yourselves. Feel free to send me a chat message or send anybody a chat message.
Is the sticky note board will be available for a couple, for us to open?
The sticky note board is available for you to log into and take a look at whenever you want. We'll also send out a screenshot of the sticky note to the Slack channel. And one of us will definitely be available if you have any questions regarding accessibility, if at all it gets, something changes along the way.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good.
Any other questions?
Yeah, so we have a question coming from Sean. So Is it okay for teams to work on the same initial idea? I think, yeah.
Of course. At the end of the day, there are over 2,000 DSC chapters across the world. There will be an overlap, but that's the point of the compete part of this event, of the challenge is, multiple teams. Yeah, there will be multiple teams all across the world who will think of the same thing, but at the end of the day, your demo and your prototype is what separates you from the crowd. Perfect. Any other questions, guys? I'm gonna wait 15 seconds. Cheryl, do you have a question?
No, I wanted to make sure, because I don't want anybody to drop off. We have one more slide that we wanted to go over. So stay tuned. This is going to kind of lay out the next steps and some resources that you can have as part of DSC members, as well as being a part of the Solution Challenge. So, and then after that, you can ask questions.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah. So for the next step, definitely send in your official team formation and names to Disha on Slack or email, and start working on your low fidelity prototype your teammates. That includes doing some research on your developer goal. And we also lay out some of the resources that could be helpful. So the first one is the Pavilion. That could be a platform that you can ask questions directly to the Google experts. And we also going to set up some office hours that you guys can come in and talk about your project. And we would love to give the feedbacks. And definitely Slack us if you have any question. And that's it. Yeah.
Also, one more thing, guys, before you guys drop off, I would love to be a part of a project, and I haven't been able to be in any of the breakout rooms. So if you love a product/program manager on your team, please reach out to me. I would love to be involved. I will also reach out to some people. And I think UU has the same outlook.
Yeah. I just joined Zero Hunger.
Okay, perfect. Well, I didn't join anybody, so I would love to join somebody. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely
thank you,
have more
guys.
meetings, yeah, with your teammates because we know that the time is running
Yeah,
really
and
fast this time.
yeah, and before we go off, I think this is something that Cheryl spoke about as well. It's really important to understand that you are now going to be working at a high level of autonomous operation. You are going to be accountable for your own work, and if you are going to have a team of 4 people, it is paramount to have mutual respect, make meetings, and do your part to make the team successful, because at the end of the day, you are and will be a team, right? So it's good to have keep lines of communication open, don't screen messages, and be on time, and just be respectful to each other. It's just good practice. I'm not even going to say good PMing practice. I'm going to say that it's just good human corporate practice, to be there for your team. So thank you so much, guys.
Yeah,
Cheryl, if you'd like to say anything.
I want to add.
Disha, go ahead first, and then I'll close out.
Sorry, I just want to add 2 things here. Follow up to what Arjun said. If you have any problems working with your team, which fingers crossed you shouldn't, but if you do, please feel free to reach out to any of us. Don't hesitate. If you're not comfortable with your team, do not feel like you've made the wrong decision. Come talk to us. We'll definitely find a way to help you out. If nothing, we'll be your team member if you want. And secondly, if you don't have a team at the end of 48 hours and you still want to take part in the solution challenge, again, it's totally okay. Reach out to any one of us. I'm also open to being in a team. So is Arjun, so is you. We are all going to be there for you guys no matter what happens at the end of the day. We really want you to take part in the solution challenge because this is an excellent opportunity. So don't feel shy. Come to us if there's any kind of issue, and we'll try our best to resolve it for you.
Yeah, we want you to have a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you so much to close out. Everyone, thank you who joined and participate. And as everybody, has mentioned, and Danny mentioned at the beginning also, think of the solution challenge as an opportunity to not only solve a problem, but also an opportunity to, and learn prizes, by the way, potentially, but also an opportunity to learn. And this is just, to learn all kinds of things, not just Google technology, which you will learn if you haven't, already. And you will learn how to build a project, how to plan for a project, thinking ahead and working with a group. And the working with the group thing is hugely important, especially when we go out to the working scene. And I hope that this event has helped you kind of get started, and also has inspired you to take part in this an amazing opportunity. So thank you again, and let us know if you have any questions. We'll be here for a couple minutes if you want to stick around and ask us questions. Other than that, don't forget to send your brief description of your team and your project to Disha, and then start creating that low fidelity prototype, maybe for us to test on later on. So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Everyone.
Thanks, everyone.